Hello, everyone. Welcome back to today's segment, today's show. I'm super excited to have everyone on today's platform and Zoom. We have special guests every other Friday, so make sure you're always tuning in. As you may or may not know, my name is Dianne Solano. My background is in functional medicine. I'm known as an orthomolecular nutritionist. I know it's a mouthful. And I've been in practice for 20 years, and I've transitioned into this wonderful platform and sharing all the wonderful tools and information around natural medicine strategies that can really start changing people's lives. And I think along the years, I've met so many wonderful practitioners, really hidden secrets. And the things and the knowledge and the tools that they're using to turn people's biochemistry around will completely rock your world. So again, this platform is to inspire you, it's to educate you, it's to plant seeds of possibility. Quick disclaimer, it's not a medical call, and we're not here to diagnose any condition. It's just here to empower you to understand what you could do to unlock the power of Mother Nature. So make sure you connect with your medical doctor to seek proper medical advice. But ultimately, what we want to do is saying, hey, what if we just gave your body a natural chance to do what it naturally is supposed to do? Because the human body is so amazing. And if you just get to some root causes, you would be amazed at how quickly your thousands of cells turn around. So for today's show, we have our special guest, Dr. Navaz Habib. And I'm so excited to have you on this call. For everyone who's joining us today, I want to tell you a little bit about Dr. Navaz Habib. He is started off his journey as a chiropractic, knows his structural for sure, but he also transitioned into functional medicine. So I love that combination of structure and biochemistry. It is such a powerful combination. He is the founder of the online functional medical clinic. Am I saying that right? Online functional medicine clinic that gets to the root cause of your health challenges. That's why you want to connect with experts of this caliber. And he's also the author of this really awesome book called Activate Your Vagus Nerve. And I remember I met Dr. Navaz a couple of years ago at a functional medicine event. It was a wonderful, empowering event run by Dr. Sachin Patel, a perfect practice medicine guru. And I loved it because when I saw this book, Dr. Navaz, I'm like, what is a vagus nerve? I actually had to go in and look for it. And I'd love for you to share with us today on the show a little bit about your story. What is the vagus nerve? How it affects depression and anxiety, because that's going to be today's focus. And tell me a little bit about the quote, what happens in the Vegas doesn't stay in the Vegas, because that's what you wrote in my book. How exciting. So lots to chat about. I'm going to hand it over to you, Dr. Navaz. Please grace us with your presence and your knowledge.
Diane, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share my story, my work, and try to empower some people to take some positive steps in their health. So my journey started off as you kind of mentioned. I was in chiropractic college, and at the time was learning about health, learning about the tools that are required to help my patients become healthier, but I wasn't applying them myself, and I was having my own health struggles, primarily from a biochemical perspective, but also then causing some physical stress on my body. I, at the time, weighed 250 pounds. I had high blood pressure, high blood sugar, borderline diabetes, was dealing with significant stress, significant low energy, just major health struggles. And I was on track to essentially live a very physically demanding, very, very like tough life, essentially, with the biochemistry that was going on. I was ready for a bunch of medications the doctors really wanted me to get onto. And I said, I'm going to figure out a way to fix this. I was not happy with that resolution that I was going to be on medication for the rest of my life. I needed to take back control, take back responsibility for my own actions. And all of a sudden, things really shifted. And it was because of functional medicine. So I was lucky enough, and you mentioned Sachin's name. Sachin was the gentleman who actually brought me into functional medicine. He actually was the one who showed me the path by which functional medicine can help us address and understand what the root cause of our health struggles are. It actually gives us a very clear path in terms of objective evidence with functional lab testing, in terms of a clear path of how do we optimize the environment so that our cells can do the job that they need to do, and then what are the steps to be able to maintain this and then to be able to grow and do better. And I was able to step out and create Health Upgraded, which is the online practice. That's how I now practice with people all over the world, chatting with them, explaining, consulting, doing the functional lab testing, and being able to get answers to them in regards to what are the steps they need to take to optimize their health.
I love it. And that's exactly it. At one point we have to take our own responsibility back, because the food industry is there to entice you, and it's kind of like this, just luring of all these flavors and all these food additives, but we're not nourishing our body. And throughout time we've gotten too comfortable about not eating real food and taking on stress. And you just said such a powerful word, taking back responsibility, not just looking for the quick fix. And that's what this show is all about. It's about giving people some nuggets. What could they possibly do to start turning around their health? And today, since we're focusing on anxiety and depression, when I read your book, I realized, oh my gosh, the vagus nerve is connected to so many, and you can talk about it, so many areas of the body. And because we're narrowing down the show on a specific topic, how does it work when it comes to anxiety and depression? Because a lot of people just kind of give up and just go quickly to, quick pharma, but truly there's some secrets we don't even know about.
Yeah, so the vagus nerve came to me a long time ago. In fact, I've always been in the sciences through all of my schooling and everything, and always really intrigued by the vagus nerve itself. It is the 10th cranial nerve. We have 12 pairs of nerves that come out of the brain stem area, kind of the back of the bottom of the brain, top of the spinal cord area. And those 12 nerves control primarily what's going on in the face and the head, except for one, and that is the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the only one of those cranial nerves that actually leaves the head cavity and actually courses down into the remainder of the body. And that was really interesting from a chiropractic functional structural perspective. It was really interesting. But when you go and you look at the actual pathway that this specific nerve takes, the pathway that it courses through, and what it then does, and the organs that it connects to, it's really quite interesting. It's called the vagus nerve from the root word vague. And if you think about that, it actually means wandering. So anatomists found that this nerve specifically was connecting from the brainstem to essentially every single organ in our body. There's no single path that it goes to, it goes everywhere. It's vague, it's wandering, it's literally everywhere. Hence the name vagus nerve. Okay. Now, what does that have to do with health? What does that have to do with anxiety and depression and the challenges of dealing with stress? We have to look at the biochemistry of stress. We have to understand the biochemistry of our mental health challenges, where those things come from. The vagus nerve connects, like I said, to all of these organs, including the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, the gallbladder, the spleen, the liver, and most importantly, here, the intestines, the small intestine, large intestine, the stomach. Our gut plays such a huge role in our health. We don't realize the extent to which the gut really does determine our overall health. It's where we get all of our good nutrients from when we're eating properly. It's where we get a lot of our bad stuff from as well. If we're not feeding ourselves effectively, if we're taking in foods that are actually going to be causing toxic burden on the body, we're going to get them primarily from our gut. We also have other things living in our gut. We have bacteria living in our gut. Our microbiome is made up of everything that's in our gut that's not our own human cells. Here's a fun stat for you. You mentioned the cells of our body. We have 50 trillion human cells in our body, somewhere between 40 and 60 trillion human cells. In just our large intestine alone, we have over 100 trillion bacterial cells. We have more than double the number of cells from a bacteria in just our gut than we do human cells in our entire body. That is actually really important, because what those bacteria are doing is helping to break down our food, helping to ensure that the right nutrients are getting into our bodies, into our bloodstream, able to then go and send the right proteins, the right tools to our cells to function optimally. And those primary drivers, those proteins that are coming in, a lot of them are neurotransmitters: serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, adrenaline, GABA. A lot of these precursors are built in the gut. In fact, 94% of our serotonin, our mood neurotransmitter, is located in our enteric nervous system, in the nervous system around the gut. So, this is a really important factor in terms of our mental health. Actually, having the biochemistry working to be able to handle stress, to optimize our mood, to optimize our motivation, to ensure that we're able to really take on the challenges that show up with us. If we don't have the biochemical capacity to deal with stress, then all of a sudden we go into states of depression or anxiety. And this is where the connection occurs. The vagus nerve sends signals from the gut to the brain and from the brain to the gut as like a thermostat for the body. We are sending that information, telling our brain how much neurotransmitter is present in the gut, in the enteric nervous system. Our gut feelings are truly feelings coming from our gut, and how happy we are is based on the biochemistry of that serotonin, dopamine, the balance of all of our neurotransmitters in our gut. Being able to send that information through the vagus nerve is really important. And that's what plays that major biochemical role in determining mental health challenges, mental health patterns.
I love how you broke it down. And it's that simple, right? The vagus nerve is the only one that leaves the body, guys. It's in there making communication with all your cells and organs, specifically the gut, which is where you make most of the chemistry that you need in your brain, is made and broken down in your actual intestinal wall. I didn't even know there are over 100 trillion cells in your gut of bacteria, and there's like 100 trillion cells in our body. So we have more bacteria in our gut than our whole entire body. So you know what? For all you nerd geeks out there like me, I just love to know how things work, because when I do, oh, now I become empowered, right? It's about
Mhm.
going in there going, so what I do eat does matter. And me moving my bowels, by the way, that's important. If you're not moving your bowels, guess what? You are probably auto intoxicating, which means you're hanging on to all that excess really bad bacteria. What are your thoughts around that, Dr. Navaz?
100%. As you take in toxins, you burden your body further. And if we're taking things in that are not positively affecting us, they are going to create negative challenges. They're going to create imbalances in our bacteria. They're going to create this challenge of not getting the right chemistry into our body, leading to and predisposing us to mental health challenges, chronic health conditions, autoimmune disease, you name it. Digestive dysfunction is really a key thing. If your digestive tract is not functioning optimally, it's a direct sign that things are not working correctly in the rest of the body. And that's where we really need to start. Make sure that the liver and the gut are working best. That's the first step. Chronic health conditions tend to go away because you're addressing primarily the root cause that tends to be an issue in the gut and the liver.
You know, biochemistry is very complicated, but nutrition is not. It's so simple, right? Every color, the least amount of labels. I mean, that's really, if you want to keep it simple, the least amount of labels a product has, chances are the healthier it is for you. If you're buying an orange, what's the label? It's an orange. Quite simple. And I always tell people, bodies have, we've thrived on nutrition our whole entire lives. It's just last, I don't know, 50, 80 years, 100 years, where all of a sudden, this food industry just started making a ton of money, and all these packaged foods started coming out like crazy.
Yeah.
So really it's about, shopping on the outside, making sure you're moving your bowels, connect with a practitioner, because that's a great place to start. But sometimes people need just a little bit of a tweak. So, what would that look like to you, Dr. Navaz? If somebody came in and said, you know what, I'm challenged here, what would you look at?
So there's a few specific areas that we would make sure to address because they tend to be the most common areas where people have issues coming up. The first one is food, for sure. You want to make sure that you're not taking in foods that contain a bunch of chemicals, antibiotics in your meat. Uh, Poorly fed animal meat tends to be really poor in quality. What your food eats, you are then eating. So you want to make sure to have really high quality animal products if that's what you're going with. You want to try to have organic where possible when it comes to vegetables and fruits. You want to choose the cleanest, greenest, and leanest of those um, foods. And then, yes, go for the rainbow 100%. Eat every single color. The reason for that is you're going to get different nutrients from different colors, whether it's micronutrients that are required in terms of like vitamins and minerals, or specific macronutrients in terms of protein, fat, and carbohydrates. And you're going to get a good mix when you mix those colors up. Eat local, eat based on where you live and what's growing in the area where you live. I live in Toronto. I shouldn't be eating a papaya in the middle of the winter. It doesn't grow around me, right? So I want to make a good choice of eating local, eating fresh, eating green, clean, and lean, and choosing the highest quality food options that you possibly can. A big piece of this is being able to live off of the earth. And I think medicinal mushrooms are a wonderful place to kind of go here. When we take in what nature provides to us, it's going to help create a balance. Nature feeds us, and we then have to feed back to nature. And it's really important. This is a cycle. And mushrooms are actually the earth's immune system. It's how the earth balances out and ensures that the system is functioning and not allowing bad things to kind of create a problem internally. Just as our immune system, our white blood cells, keep a balance within our body, not allowing bacteria or viruses to take on and create negative impacts in our body. The same idea is there with mushrooms and the mycelium network underneath the planet that's actually helping as an immune system for the entire planet. So what heals the earth will heal us. So using tools such as reishi mushroom is a wonderful way to address a lot of the immune system health challenges, the balance of the gut as well, because there's a very, very direct connection between the digestive system and the immune system. And using natural foods, things that don't come packaged, things that don't come with ingredient labels more than 3 ingredients long, is a direct way of making sure that you're not taking in crap.
Perfect. And you know what? You just nailed it, because we're all busy. We're all on the go. We don't always have time to cook. I get it. I live there. So I try to source what areas now, especially now where there's more consciousness out there. There's great food restaurants that are making some wonderful all natural salads. I order stuff if I need to. I pre-plan ahead. But medicinal mushrooms are actually one of my favorite little nutrition hacks, because what I found was that, coffee was where I was really most passionate about. As you know, Dr. Habib, I'm passionate about the Organo product line. It tastes like real coffee because it's real coffee. And the company has a patent on their extraction process of their reishi. So not only is it highly bioavailable, which means when you take it, your cells are really ingesting a good portion of it, but it also tastes amazing, because typically if you have medicinal mushroom infused beverages, it tastes like mushroom soup. But this one doesn't. And what I found was I spent 20 years trying to get people off of coffee, and I was so unsuccessful. And then I found this company and I said, oh my gosh, they're putting in a superfood. They are making it so easy where you just add hot water. So it's pre brewed coffee with medicinal mushrooms, but it also started helping with pH alkalinity. And like you said, medicinal mushrooms right now are such a powerful superfood that it started helping with good bacteria. It started helping with nitric oxide delivery. It started helping with anti-inflammatory effects and boosting immunity and having all these wonderful pathways on a simple cup of coffee. So I thought, oh my gosh, more cost effective than most commercial brands, easy to make, alkaline, anti-inflammatory, great for the immune system. What have you got to lose? And I found that people drinking this were feeling so better on it,
Yeah.
simply because we were just taking the habit and putting the health in it while they were going on their busy, busy, busy day. So have fun, guys. If you want to learn more about Dr. Navaz, I would say definitely get his book, Activate Your Vagus Nerve. It's amazing. I didn't even know this nerve existed. I learned all about different natural strategies, but I'm not a structural expert. And I'm like, how come I've never heard of the vagus nerve before? And then I was amazed to realize all the areas of the body it affects. And it being anxiety and depression, well, it makes sense because of that gut relationship, right? So if you want to connect with Dr. Navaz, you can definitely follow him on Instagram. He's Dr. Navaz Habib, also on Facebook. You also have your clinic online, which is called healthupgraded.com. Is that where people can find you and
Yeah, that's
get a
perfect.
copy of the book as well?
Yeah, you can find the book there, and you can also find the book on any bookstore, Amazon, wherever as well.
Wonderful. So yeah, you can do a nice Google there. I believe Dr. Navaz also has access to this wonderful reishi infused beverages that not only work, but they taste amazing. Because if things don't taste good, guys, I know you're not going to do it. Been there, done that. And it's definitely one of my most favorite little health hacks while people are on the go. Any other tips you can recommend around anxiety and depression? So what else
Absolutely.
would someone look for that you could probably share before we end our call today?
Absolutely. Just a couple of quick ones. In fact, you brought up the organo coffee. I almost every morning will have my King coffee and create a bulletproof coffee using it. In my blender, I'll make sure to put some butter, some MCT oil, some protein powder, and mix it up. And I feel better every single time. When I have that, I have a very focused, very strong day. And it does not taste like other stuff. It tastes like coffee. So I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big proponent of it. That's why I do offer that as part of the packages that we provide to our patients. In terms of other strategies that any of us can take on, things that anybody can do, I'll give you two that are amazing, that are epic. The simplest two that you'll ever hear about that can make positive changes to your overall health, your demeanor, your mental health. Number one, go outside. Every single day, spend time outdoors, get sunlight. Sunlight plays such a huge role in our overall health. We have vitamin D balance that's going to be created by going outside. Vitamin D, as we know, is so, so important to overall health, not just immune system, not just to our skin and our bones and our muscles. It does so much. And vitamin D balance is key. So getting that sunlight on your skin and being able to activate the vitamin D that you're supplementing with or that you're taking otherwise is really, really key. The sunlight, as well as it comes into your eyes, turns on serotonin production within your body. This is why when we go on vacation, we feel better because we tend to be out in the sun, outdoors, fresh air, no stress. We're outside a lot more generally. You go to a beach vacation, you go hang out at the beach for a day, even here in Toronto, you're going to feel a lot better. And it's because of that excess sunlight rather than sitting indoors in an office where you can't do much, where you're not getting that sunlight. You're going to want to get outdoors. My goal is about 30 minutes every day of outdoor time, and if it's nice enough, skin exposed where possible. Okay. Second one is breathing and learning how to breathe correctly. I talk a lot about it in the book. Breathing really is our key to being able to shift our state from being in a fight, flight, reactivity, sympathetic system to that vagus turned on parasympathetic rest, digest, and recovery state where we need to be most of the time. We need to be in that state. Most of us are living in that chronic stress state. That chronic stress state activates our sympathetic fight or flight. The boss coming on your tapping you on your shoulder and saying, I need to see you in my office, or getting an email from somebody that stresses you out, or picking your kids up from school and not knowing what to do with them for the rest of the day, and having to run after all of the different tasks that we have to do on a simple day. We tend to sit there in a stressful fight or flight state for 70-80% of our time, and that's problematic. We should be the exact opposite. We should be sitting in parasympathetic rest, digest, recovery during that time. And that's the breath really is the key to being able to shift your state from one to another. When somebody comes and taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, the boss needs to see you in the office, what's the first thing that happens? We have a quick shallow breath and our shoulders go up and we go, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then we get stressed out and our heart rate goes up, our eyes dilate, we start to think we need to get away from stuff, and our blood flow actually shifts away from our midline to our muscles, to our arms, to our legs. We want to fight or we want to run away, fight or flight. The opposite is getting our state shifted. So, okay, stressful moment, take a breath. Take a deep breath with your belly. Use your diaphragm. Learn to actually breathe using your diaphragm. Go. If you're taking a deep breath and your shoulders are rising, you're doing it incorrectly. You should have your belly coming in and out. That's the way we're supposed to breathe. We're supposed to open up the lungs at the bottom. We're supposed to get that state down and shift us into a calm, relaxed state. That's really important. That's a very, very simple tool. Anytime you start to feel stressed, anytime you start to feel a little bit shaken up, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths with your belly. I guarantee you, you will feel a state shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic.
Perfect. I just tried that and I raised my shoulders. I already did it wrong. And you think you know everything and you forget because you're always on. We're always on. One thing I also do is take off my notifications from my phone. It was like a Las Vegas casino at one time, and it was like my nervous system was so tapped in. So we really have to take care of our bodies. Wonderful tips, Dr. Navaz. And like you said, the digestion's everything. So if you're stressed, guess what? No more blood flow to that area, and we in this chronic cycle. So definitely pick up the book. You'll be amazed to learn what different parts of the body and this beautiful nerve, what area it's affecting. Connect with Dr. Navaz Habib if you have a question, you maybe have some curiosity. That's what I love, is bringing on experts that have online platforms now that anyone around the world can find him. You don't have to be in Toronto to actually access him anymore. And that's why I'm so passionate about this show, is who can I show who has a little bit of knowledge, who might know something a little more and can radically change people's lives around the world. So that's it for this week. Join us every other Friday where we discuss empowered through health topics. We bring in different experts from around the world. Get your cup of organo coffee. If not through Dr. Habib, you can also jump on the newbodynewlife.myorganogold.com, sponsored by this wonderful health show. And of course, follow Dr. Navaz on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. We'll have clips and reruns on all our shows it's taking place every other Friday. And remember, the health ultimately is in your hands. You are your own best health advocate, and you've been blessed with an amazing life. That's ultimately it, guys. If we don't have health, we don't have anything. I've seen people with a lot of money wishing they would pay anything to get their health back. And this is the vehicle for you to become the best version of yourself, to tap in your most empowered, best potential, get empowered, make an impact in the world, be the best version of you, because that's ultimately what you're designed to do on this lifetime. So with all the thank yous in the world, Dr. Navaz, I know you're so, so busy. Thank you for spending this afternoon with us. Stick around if you want to see our 2-minute commercial around the superfood infused coffee, and reach out to Dr. Navaz Habib. Thank you so much for being on today's show, Dr. Navaz.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you.